Marvel's Runaways, which is a TV series on Hulu. Whereas most of the previous Marvel series have come out on Netflix.
Yep.
This is a Hulu show.
Or ABC, right? ABC did Shield and all
Yeah,
that.
we don't talk about those. They're not great.
No?
Okay, have you watched 2 episodes of Inhumans and tell me how quick you are to invoke that mess?
No, I have no desire to. So go
But
ahead. Please
Hulu's
continue.
crushing the game with TV.
Hulu's doing okay, man. We talked about Future Man a little while back.
Yeah.
Herb, you checked out Future
I
Man.
love that series.
Yeah, well,
So
apparently
he's into it, but just on TV, I think if you're gonna like get a streaming subscription to anything, like if you like TV, Hulu's the way to go.
Hulu's doing big things, and
Because not
Marvel's
just like
Runaways
old TV, but they have like the
Some
new
richer
series coming up.
content.
Yeah.
Marvel's Runaways is a series about children who, as far as they know, they're kids who their parents are kind of well off, and they go to school, and they were friends when they were real little, and then just kind of grew apart over time, and they're forced back together. And hey, their parents are having one of those group nights out. What are we gonna do with the kids? Let them party in the other side of the house. Fine. And they're kind of awkward around each other, and they don't really have anything new in common. And then they say, okay, you know what? Hey, let's raid the liquor cabinet. So in roaming the house, they stumble across their parents taking part in this kind of, it looks like a religious ceremony, but really it's just kind of like some
The
evil
parents
stuff.
are doing this?
The parents are doing this.
Okay.
And it turns out their parents, they find out through a series of events that their parents are actually an evil organization called the Pride. And they each cover one aspect of an underground criminal empire. And in the Marvel Universe, these cats are respected by Doctor Doom. They're respected.
Nice.
Yeah. Professor X and the Shield and the Avengers consider them like a legitimate threat. But their territory is the West Coast. And this isn't like some West Coast Avengers type stuff. They are like ground level, underground. Like, don't mess with us. We are the Kingpin. Kingpin has New York. The Pride has L.A.
Okay.
That's the level they are, which was a good premise for a book because their kids decide we don't want to be evil like our parents. What are we gonna do? And then they rebel, and then they run away, and that's where the series name comes from, The Runaways. Now the TV show is attempting to adapt this, and this I'm glad they finally pulled the product out. Marvel's Runaways was one of the original Marvel series that was planned, that was slated for a movie. And this is back when they were trying to do like Ant-Man. They were trying to do, and they did Ant-Man. Ant-Man was a funny movie, but I think it may have been limited by the time and
Well,
the fact
Ant-Man
that
had
Marvel
a lot of
really-
trouble coming out the gate too.
It
It
did.
did.
Like it definitely changed hands a few times.
And sadly, because of that, certain properties like Runaways ended up getting shelved. But I think now it's worked out for it because I'll say right now, this wasn't a perfect show, but it's one that showed a lot more promise and has delivered a lot more quality than shows of this ilk have tried. I mentioned Inhumans a few minutes ago. Inhumans is a show that has an okay story. Like, it's not one I was jazzed about from the comics, but I thought they could do really good things with it after seeing shows like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, because when you have the full backing of the company behind you.
Well, isn't
and
that
they're
what
not
you're
really-
always going to compare them to from now on? You know what I mean? I
It's-
think
I know
every
not.
sort of
I know
comic
I am.
book show- Yeah.
I know without a doubt. I mean, if a show of a specifically a Marvel television show does not come out by Netflix, I am incredibly hesitant to even give it a shot.
Yep.
Without a doubt. So with Inhumans, I
agree.
have not watched it. I saw the trailer for Runaways, and I was like, Netflix handed it in it. I don't know if I want to deal with it. I mean, I know it's really
That's true.
close-minded of me, but
Yes, how
walk
dare
me-
you?
walk
man.
me
You
through
call
it, Pete.
yourself a journalist. What the hell? Or even where's that priestly forgiveness you supposed to tout? Come on now.
hey, you bark up the wrong tree in the
You
end.
sitting there, get behind me and humans like this dude. But no.
But walk me through it. Like, is it worth me taking that risk? Because I mean, granted, stick them on Netflix. You run the risk of burying everything into it. You get something like Iron Fist, which is clearly the weakest out of all of them.
Yes.
But the same token, it's like, well, look what happened with the Punisher. So I'm like, okay, my faith is restored.
Right.
And Jessica Jones season 2 is dropping soon. So why should I give up this emotional high that I'm in with the Punisher to reach over to another distributor with Hulu?
Well, your issue is
Yeah.
like a new one too, and it's interesting. It's just like this weird loyalty to a
Yeah.
streaming service that I think
it's kind of a
makes
new
no
thing, but-
sense, but it does because I have it too.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's just like why it's like, oh well, if Netflix isn't doing the Marvel series, like why would I watch it? You know what I mean?
Adam
It's
is,
like
Adam
they seem
is,
to got a
Adam is
pigeonhole in it.
staunchly
You know what I mean?
loyal to Torrent Spy.
Right.
But
Right.
I will actually answer that question. I'm not
Yes.
here to sell the series. I'm not here to tell you to get it and don't get it. I'm just giving an honest review. But my honest review is I don't think you would dig it. I don't think you are someone who would get into it. And the thing is, if you're used to a certain type
Yeah.
of show, especially from Marvel, not just from Netflix, but from Marvel themselves, this is different. This is targeting a younger audience.
So what's the violence like? Is it
the
toned down a lot?
The violence is there, but it's not like overbearing.
Right.
Like you are not going to see the level of violence you saw in Luke Cage. There's not bullets flying everywhere. You're not going to see like the hand to hand, the melee violence and smashing like you saw in Jessica Jones.
So is it more like a PG-13 type show?
Definitely.
Okay.
But we're also talking about kids. We're not talking. We're talking
Right.
about kids with powers that they're just discovering. So it's not like I've been doing this and I'm not Static Shock. I'm not like a veteran hero, even though I'm only 15. These are kids. Their powers are just manifesting. It's in each different realm, and they don't have their parents to guide them because their parents are the enemy. So it's a very interesting take, and in the book, it worked perfectly. In the show, I'm seeing growing pains because they're doing their absolute best. One of the girls has a dinosaur. Okay, when you think about bringing a dinosaur to television, to the visual media, it can go two ways. It can go Jurassic Park, which is great if you have all the money in the universe. Or it can go. Do you remember like Hercules' Legendary Journeys? With like that very basic.
What's the Whoopi Goldberg movie?
All this stuff.
Her partner was the one
T-Rex.
Rex.
Was it something Rex?
Simon Rex or something.
Terminator Rex.
Yeah,
It wasn't Terminator Rex. That would have been a better name.
It didn't work out.
That would have been a better name.
It didn't work out.
It was something basic like Billy Rex or something.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you're right. That's a perfect example of something that didn't work. The best you can hope for is something like the TV show Dinosaurs.
You mean like Not the Mama?
Yeah.
Like the little baby?
So with Earl Sinclair in them. So you start the ball really low. And Marvel's Runaways does a great job with CG like that. They have good effects. They have a story that it's long, it's extended. I mean, the thing went across, I think, 5 graphic novels when I stopped reading it. And they're condensing this down to a single TV season, I think maybe 13 episodes. But so far, it's going at a good clip, and the acting is great, especially for kids. But it also really, really caters to a specific audience. A lot of the issues they talk about, it was interesting when I read the book 10 plus years ago, and now 10 plus, dang, maybe not. Well, maybe not quite 10. But
whatever.
Regardless, I'm no longer of the appropriate age that this is directly targeting. I don't have the same issues that these kids are having. I know more about the world than they do, and they deal with this. And the way they do is very interesting story-wise, but I think this is definitely meant for younger audiences. I'm going to give it a thumbs up, but I'm going to put that caveat on it. It's a thumbs up if you're between the ages of, say, 12 and 25, because it's more relatable and it's more enjoyable in that respect. Things like the effects are definitely shown. You definitely see the differences between Hulu shows and Netflix shows. Going back to Future Man was a Netflix show versus a Hulu show. It's another one we talked about a couple shows back. You can check them out on WEMF Radio and twitch.tv/The Geek Down. You will see definite I don't know. It's like you'll see how they're not quite worlds apart, but they're apart enough where it's the difference between.
Well, like Hulu spent all their money on Seinfeld.
This is on this is
Seinfeld
HBO.
reruns.
This is HBO primetime movie versus this is Telemundo. Thursday night,
like TBS.
feature.
Ain't that bad, right?
That's all.
TBS.
That's all I'm saying. Regardless, what it comes down to, I ran a little long. My bad. But what it comes down to is Marvel's Runaways on Hulu. I give it a thumbs up. I say check it out, but with the caveat of it's definitely for certain ages, for specific ages. But still, it's a good story.
I got you. All right.
So now I'm gonna kick it over to JM the Thriller Priest.
Okay.
Who